We have many talented people that work here at Sportstime Ohio that you may not be aware of, and specifically that work right on our show here at All Bets Are Off. And it gives me particular delight to introduce one of them to you. This handsome young dude here is Matt Brubaker. Now, for All Bets Are Off, he does probably 99% of the graphic work that you see on a daily basis on our show. Does a little bit of editing too. He's behind the scenes. He sits right next to the director upstairs in master control. But he also is an on-air talent. He is the play-by-play voice of Ashland University football and basketball, men's and women's. And the women's team at Ashland just completed a storybook season and won the national championship. And so I wanted to put Matt on the show. He just got back from San Antonio over the weekend. I wanted to highlight these women from Ashland and put Matt on the air. And ironically, I didn't even know it, but I'm wearing the Ashland Eagles colors. Matt purposefully is wearing the purple, but isn't that ironic? And it's not an April Fool's joke.
It's not, Bruce. It was destiny to wear the purple today. I'm glad you were able to do that.
Tell us about this program, this season. Coach Ramsey, bring us up to speed.
It was a dream season. I think dating back to the end of last year, you looked at this team as a chance to get back to San Antonio, and they did. And it was a lot tougher the second season. It's very tough to live up to those expectations, and they did that.
They got to the championship last year and lost.
They did, yeah, in overtime, 88-82, and the core was coming back. We lost just one player. He was a big player, though. Jenna Stutzman made a huge shot to tie the game, to go to overtime, but this is a great group of young ladies. They really came together as a team. Coach Ramsey challenged each one of them to go into the summer break, work on their games as individuals. Every one of those players took over 30,000 shots, and they got back there. And, 30,000 shots is a lot over the summer, but it's just one of those, you look at the smiles, and it's so much better to see tears of joy this year versus the tears of sadness we saw last ye's.
How long's Ramsey been at Ashland, Matt?
She just completed her 18th season. She's won now 419 total games in her career and over 300 at Ashland, and it's just priceless to see them jumping around all smiles with that national championship trophy. And Coach Ramsey, there's not enough good things you can say about her. One of the best and most sincere people. From day one, she's been a very faith-oriented person, and that hasn't changed. Even with this success, it'll stay that way.
37-1, the record this year. The one loss was a conference loss on the road, is that right?
It was at Findlay, yeah, Valentine's Day. They lost 66-51 without Carrie Doherty, their National Player of the Year for the second straight season. She was out with an MCL sprain. But I thought that loss, and you hear a lot of people say the sports cliche, it could be a good loss for them to maybe refocus the team. Not saying they weren't focused, but they made the game look so easy this year. They had one game decided by less than 10 points. Even the loss, they lost by 15. But each one of the players after the game said, that wasn't Ashland basketball. I just want to go back out there and rewrite that because they did not play their best game. And from then on, they won 13 straight and the biggest one in the national title game.
This is what, Division III?
Division II.
Division II,
yeah.
Even more impressive. 70-3 record Ramsey has put together over the last two seasons, and in the last two NCAA tournaments, just 1-2 in previous two tournaments. And Ramsey with this incredible record. Has she developed this program through the years, or is this success just recent?
It's been recent, but at the same time, you could see it developing with some of the players that she recruited. But before these last two seasons, they'd only made the tournament twice, all under her. But they were just 1-2 before that. Then they found their success thanks to, into a large part, from Carrie Doherty. She came from the University of Dayton, followed her older sister Kristen there, and she really thrived. She played guard at Dayton. She came to Ashland, and she was a forward. But here's a great story for you, Bruce. She came there first for her faith. Wanted to be closer to home. God was really telling her to go back closer to home, and that's the great thing about this team. Yes, they won a national championship, and they were so humble in doing so, but they are a very faith-oriented team.
And Ashland is a religious-oriented college.
Yeah, they are Judeo-Christian values. It's a brethren school, but it's just one of those teams that you want to be around. It made me a better person the last couple seasons, also covering them in school. And it's it still hasn't really sunk in. I'm kind of sitting here trying to figure it all out still right now, but I know what happened. I'm just waiting for somebody to pinch me and let me realize what happened for these great people.
So, am I safe to say that you don't hear F-bombs and cussing like Rick Pitino on the sidelines when calls don't go Ashland's way?
Yeah, I would venture to say you'd be right on that. I probably have never heard Coach Ramsey or a lot of the players ever say anything bad at all, and you'd be right on that.
Where does Ramsey recruit?
Pretty much the state of Ohio. She can really find all the players on this year's roster were from the state of Ohio, but a lot of the core players, Jenna Stutzman, I mentioned last year, she came from Kent State. Carrie came from Dayton. Noelle Yoder, a junior this year, she came from Bowling Green State. She's getting a lot of Division I transfers to come down and really play for her, and it's tough to say no to her with her faith background and a great coach as well. But she's around the state of Ohio, Columbus, Zanesville area, Cincinnati too.
Boy, it's incredible now building up this kind of reputation. There's going to be gals that are going to be out of state in different portions of the country. They're going to take a look at Ashland now.
I would love it, and it would be a perfect time to get some of those recruits in because we'll lose 6 players this year, 5 seniors. Ashley Dorner is a redshirt junior, but she's been there. She could have been there 6 seasons, but she had a couple of knee issues as well, and that's something else you look at this team. They overcame a lot of adversity as a team and individuals. Ashley being probably the most noteworthy, Carrie with her injury, Diva Gerbeck, we could talk about her as well, but she missed all of last season with an injury as well. So they overcame individual adversity, team adversity, and again, makes it that much sweeter to come out on top.
And I don't know if you've ever been down to Ashland. I've been to Ashland many times, including just last summer for the National Fast Pitch Championships, which we covered here on Sports Time Ohio. But it's a really nice campus. I mean, you talk about a cozy Division II campus. It's very, very nice.
Yeah, it's very intimate. Everybody knows everybody. That could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what you get into. But, you know, Convocation Center, some of the best food in the country. Now we have the bbest team in the country as well. It's pretty nice to say.
Boy, it is incredible. First team to make back-to-back title game appearances since Cal Poly Panoma won 2 straight in 01-02. And the only previous GLIAC team to win a national championship since 06. So all kinds of incredible team accomplishments as well as individual accomplishments. Team had 2 All-Americans, is that right?
They did. Carrie Doherty was the National Player of the Year, also named Daktronics National Player of the Year. And then Diva Gerbeck, the aforementioned senior. She's from Bishop Watterson High School in Columbus. Honorable mention. She was also honorable mention as a sophomore, too. And she picked up right where she left off. And she was one of the catalysts to really help this team get over the top from last year to this year, because they're both great shooters. They can get inside and score deep in the paint, but Carrie and Diva, specifically Diva though, can carry that shot out to about 15 feet and make it very difficult for teams when they're doubling Carrie in the post or anybody else that's shooting out on the floor. She'll step up and make those shots as well.
And I remember talking to Matt during the season because it was pretty well known that Ashland was a serious national championship contender. Ashland defeated 7 ranked teams throughout the course of the campaign. At least 3 players scored in double figures in 32 of the 38 games. Last regular season loss against Minnesota State Mankato in the 2011 season opener. 49 regular season wins, 43 home wins, and then the individual accomplishments galore as we're touching upon. Just a storybook season.
And it was, and I'll tell you this, when you talked about the 43 straight home wins, the very last home game ever played in the traditional Cates Gymnasium, Ashland was down to Wayne State of Michigan by 8 points with 8 minutes to go. And I'm sitting there, I had a lot more hair as I was growing that out for 4 months, very superstitious act on my part, but I'm sitting there thinking, you know, this can't end this way. Not with this great group of people, and in this building the last time they're getting a new floor, a new renovation, and they came back, and I think this is just by the grace of God and just they're great players. They ended up winning that game by 9, and it was making their free throws, getting to the free throw line, and getting one of the most dominant players I've seen in a while in Division II, and Juanita Cochran, in foul trouble. And it's one of those things I won't appreciate until a couple of weeks down the road. Once I've gotten away from it, I appreciate it now. Let me rephrase that, but it still just hasn't sunk in. But it was a huge game to go out on top that way, and just to see in front of a record crowd of nearly 3,000 people, all happy and all smiles.
Now, what was it like, the atmosphere in San Antonio? And again, a wonderful place to stage a national championship, Riverwalk and everything. Check that out.
We were on this for the second straight year. Our hotel was right on the Riverwalk, and I think this year.
Oh, it was in San Antonio last year too.
Yeah, it was, and I think I was just going to really touch on that point. Was I think that helped a lot too. We were in the same hotel, same venue for the gym. We knew the routine. We knew the day after the banquet was going to be the first game. The night of the banquet, we would go on a barge ride. There were no surprises. And that probably helped. We were the only team from last year to make it back to San Antonio this year, and they were more focused. Their team motto this year was unfinished business, and they went about their business in the best way. And I think that helped a lot too, just knowing the routine, knowing what to expect. And on that national stage, when some people could fold, they rose to the occasion.
4 or 8 teams at the Nationals?
There's actually, Division II does it a little differently. You know, men's and women's in Division I, it's the Final Four. That's the big one. For Division II, it's the Elite 8. So 8 teams from 8 different regions go down to San Antonio. Next year, it'll be in Erie, Pennsylvania.
So you got to win 3 games.
Yes, you do. And I'll be honest, at halftime of that very first game, we were down 6. Just the third time we trailed at halftime all year. 2-1 in those games, and I'm sitting there thinking, we can't come down here in one game and then go back the next day, because I'm going to have to go back to Cleveland where it's probably snowing again. And it wasn't as warm as we thought down there, but I dressed for the weather, and they found a way to overcome it again. And you know, a couple days later, national champions. So
what were the semifinal and the championship approximate ballpark scores? You may have forgotten the exact scores.
I can remember those. It was 66-54 in the Final Four. Ashland won that one by 12, and that was a game where it wasn't really close. I don't think in the last 2 games we ever trailed. I think we were tied once in the final 2 games. 66-54 was the final in the first one, and then in the championship it was 71-56. And the interesting thing about those last 2 games, the first 4 games of the NCAA tournament, we'd played all those teams before. We played Indianapolis at the time. They were ranked number 5 in the regular season, played them in the first round, won by 14. Then the next 2 were conference opponents. We knocked out Michigan Tech and Wayne State. So that provided a familiarity as well.
How's the men's team at Ashland?
I'll tell you what, and they won 8 of their last 9 basketball games, but they did not make the conference tournament. They were going for the number 8 seed. Lake Superior State actually got that. They made it to the conference tournament championship and lost to Findlay. But they were playing their best basketball at the end. The only loss in that stretch was at Ohio Dominican in Columbus. And they overcame adversity as well. One of their best point guards, Ronnie Stewart, he went out with a knee injury. Knees were bad for us this year, by the way. But they just really came together as a team, found a way to win ball games. Evan Yates, who traveled down to San Antonio to watch the team play, he was an All-American as well.
I was just going to say, if the guys were supporting the women.
A couple of the guys, they're dating girls on the team, so they were down there as well. And it was just, like you said, Ashland, it's like a family. And if it wasn't before, it definitely is now.
And motivation for the guys to go out and play well, considering the women, best team in the country, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
And of course, Lee Owens is a good friend of mine, the head football coach at Ashland. He's been there many years.
It's been a great year for Ashland sports, and it's not just the marquee sports. Track and field, swimming. We had a couple of national champions on the track and field team as well. And football went 11-0 this year. They made it to the playoffs and lost to a West Texas A&M team at Jack Miller Stadium. But tell you what, I've always said on the air, it's great to be an Eagle, but this year is one of the best.
Now, how long have you been doing the play-by-play? Now, give the call letters of the station.
It's what are the call letters? WNCO. I kind of forgot about that, but I've been doing it professionally for 2 years. I went to Ashland and graduated in 2011. Did that all 4 years there, and I've done football, basketball, baseball, all 3 sports since I've been there. But my baby was the women's team. I got to choose which team I wanted to cover. That was my first one because I knew Coach Ramsey so well. Then I was able to cover the football team, get to know Coach Owens. But it's been an amazing, looking back now, 6 years. But the last 2 years as a professional, I think 2 national championships in 2 years isn't a bad way to start a career.
Not bad at all. Congratulations to everybody, student body, faculty, all the residents in Ashland, Ohio, a wonderful community, and certainly and most importantly to Coach Ramsey and you players. Well done. And that includes you too. Keep up the great work here on All Bets Are Off. Love you, Matt. Matt Brubaker sharing a few moments with us. That's about wraps things up for this version of All Bets Are Off. Now, tomorrow, the Indians open up the 2013 season in Toronto across the border against the Blue Jays, and pretty consensus pick to win that Eastern Division this year. We'll have Masterson on the hill against the knuckler, R.A. Dickey. All he did last year was win the Cy Young Award with the New York Mets over in the National League. Have a good evening. Go Cavs. We'll see you tomorrow, 3:30. Remember, we started at 3:30 today. From now on, our starting time on All Bets Are Off is 3:30 in our normal Monday through Thursday work week. So we'll see you tomorrow at 3:30. I'm Bruce Drennan. Until then, as always, and most importantly, you remember, I love you, Ohio, and I love you, Cleveland.